love burritos, you know you love tacos. Come on, you know you do. Well, Baby Loves Tacos in its 2 locations in Pittsburgh, PA, is where you need to be to get the good stuff. The original hot spot right smack in the middle of Little Italy on Liberty Avenue in Bloomfield, and their newer location in Millville right over the 40th Street Bridge. Zach, Kat, Kaz, John, Ben, and the rest of those groovy cats serve up the best Mexican-style food this side of the Texas border. Baby Loves Tacos will fill you up and make you smile. So when in Pittsburgh, head over to Baby Loves Tacos. Tell them Twisted Rico sent you. Baby loves tacos where everybody eats. Before we bring our special guest out today, let's listen to the song Dead People from See This World, featuring our guest Dave Tree on lead vocals.
Just fine. I see dead people, and it's blowing my mind. I see dead people, they're all standing in line. I see dead people, driving in cars. I see dead people, drinking in bars. I see dead people, staring at stars. I see dead people, they don't know who they are. They don't know who they are. Dead people, they don't know who they are. I see dead people, they don't know who they are.
Welcome to Blowing Smoke with Twisted Rico. I'm your host, Steve Ricardo. You just heard Dead People by See This World from the album Time of the Signs, recorded at Galaxy Park Studios in Salem, Mass. by Richard Marr, who was also a guest on our show in 2019. Let's welcome to the show the one and the only Dave Tree.
Hey, buddy. How are you, man?
Good. Good.
Thanks for having me on the show.
I've been wanting to have you on, and I'm honored to have you on.
Well, it's been a long time, and you're like, aren't you am I your evil stepbrother?
Yeah,
or like
you're my younger
younger evil twin?
Well, we're going to make, you're definitely younger.
When we were kids, we were like what, kids? In the 90s, like, me and him had the same exact haircut, same exact jacket. Everyone's like, are you guys brothers? We're like, yep.
Yeah, we did look a little alike, but you're much more handsome than I am, I'll admit it.
Dude, no way, we're great looking together.
Okay, listen, for my listeners that don't know Dave, and I know if you're in Boston, you must know him, he spent most of the 90s in the seminal Boston hardcore band Tree, releasing 6 albums and playing some of the most memorable shows in the 90s wave of hardcore. Since then, he has had several other cool projects, which he's going to tell us about, as well as an incredible career as an artist, and most recently, the man who runs the New Alliance Gallery right here in Somerville. Nashville. In fact, right down the hall. He is also involved with
I
the
co-curate.
Co-curate?
Yeah, with Alvin Long.
Okay.
So it's, to say I run it, it's a thank you.
He always gives you...
It's too much credit.
He always says it's you, by the way, just so you know. Well,
it's a team. We're a team effort, for sure.
It's a damn good team.
Yeah, it's a great team.
And one last thing I want to mention is Dave is involved with the evolving story regarding the Rejuvenated podcast room here at New Alliance, where he's working with Mike Nash, and myself and Nick. We're all going to work together on that.
I know, I'm psyched. It's pretty exciting.
So before we get into music and some of the things that's gone on in your life, I just wanted to talk to you about the unsettling times that we've been dealing with 220 and now it is now. What have you personally been able to do to get through all this chaos?
I swear, it's like what used to save me all the time from stress and from despair was punk rock hardcore, and just being able to sing it even at the practice space, but like shows matter. People coming up and showing up for shows matters. People coming up front and having a good time matters. All that shit, all that magic that matters makes a huge difference. You know what I mean? It was the best medicine. It is the best medicine. I mean, I think that's why I've always done it, because it's just not for me. You share this medicine. You know, it's not like I'm in the bathroom doing this medicine by myself. I'm out in the parking lot sharing the medicine with everybody by the dumpster. Come on. It's a lot different, you know?
So that's been the toughest part for you, not being able to have a crowd, you know, being around people.
It's not even a crowd. You don't need a huge crowd. You just need, you need the band to connect, you know, you drop into the zone, you get that feeling, and then you're doing it with other people that are just at the show.
Right.
And you're connecting together on this different level of, you know, like of awareness, of like commonality. It's like we're connected to the universe through music, you know, almost.
Did you like find yourself doing more art and stuff to keep yourself occupied during this period?
You know what I did? I would go out on the tracks every day for like long walks out in Worcester.
The train tracks.
Yeah, I was out in Worcester for a lot of the lockdowns, so I spent a lot of time walking around or riding this junk bike that I found when I was walking around. I just fixed up this junker and just would ride around literally on the tracks, you know, with a bag full of spray paint and some beer and weed, and just go on the adventure, and it was exciting. And then, you know, I got to like check out all these different parts of Worcester that, you know, intimately. You know, you drive by these things, you fly by it, but if you ride your bike and you get to look around, you stop. And I gotta hand it to those WOW people. They really got a lot of some amazing graffiti pieces, not graffiti pieces, but giant pieces of art painted on the buildings downtown. And then there's great places where the kids just get up on themselves too, where I go check that out. And I love graffiti and people getting up and like serious pieces. It's always like I always like looking at that stuff and checking it out, taking photographs of that. And I went on an adventure. I tried to be creative. I wrote a bunch of lyrics. You know, I made, you know, it was politics time, so I was really pushing hard for Bernie, and I was doing artwork kind of like to try to promote him, and he got robbed again by the DNC. I mean, like,
you're getting all political now.
Sweeten over the shit that happened, you know. They fucking totally scammed him again. Like Pete Buttigieg just like drops out, and Amy Klobuchar just drops out on Super T. Like,
you don't like those moderates anyways. What do you care?
No, I don't like them. I don't like them. No, I don't. I do not.
I wasn't going to talk politics with you, but there is something that just happened that I will bring up. Kristen Sinema, you know, the bisexual senator, Democratic senator from Arizona, and Joe Manchin, who's practically a Republican, who's the Democratic senator.
Yeah.
They just both sided with McConnell to like keep the filibuster going. I know that must have made you real happy when you heard that.
Well, I don't know. No.
But we don't have to talk about politics because we're here to talk about music.
Yeah. All right. So what do we do to survive in these hard times? Well, like being creative definitely helps. Writing walking around in nature. That helps a lot too. Get out there.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Your Instagram page is fantastic, and I was going to let you plug that later because
That pretty much started during this adventure.
Your videos, like you had one, and I saw all these little black creatures running in and out. I'm like, what are they? And then you told me they were Fisher cats. I've never seen that many Fisher cats together at one time. That was incredible.
On the tracks behind my house in like the blown out warehouse district of Worcester.
And they live in the ground.
They lived in a burrow next to the tracks, and I'm riding my bike by, and I see this like what looks like kind of like a kitten. I'm like, oh, look at that guy, and I don't even know if it was a Fisher cat because like 2 days, because coming back, it was dark, and I went right back the same way, and I'm like, hey, I wonder if the cats are out. I'm looking around, and all of a sudden I hear, and like mom was home, and I was like, okay. Yeah, and I look over and I see a shadow of like a dog-sized animal, like a medium dog. Exactly. I'm like, what the hell is that? And then literally a couple days later, me and my wife were walking down in the park on the other end of the tracks.
Yeah.
Baseball park. She's like, oh my God, what's that? I look up and I see this like thing running away. It's like, it looked like a giant dog, but it was a cat with a long tail too. So it wasn't like a bobcat. And I'm like, what kind of cat is running around in Worcester now? I don't know.
Wow, that's interesting. I do a lot of work with animal shelters, and I thought they didn't look like regular cats.
No.
The video you posted did it looked like black squirrels, like a million of them, and that's what Fisher cats look like.
So maybe it was maybe the Fisher cats get pretty big, but
we're going places I didn't expect to go here today. Can we go all the way back to the early 90s for a minute when you formed Tree? Tell us about those days, how the band was formed, and how you ended up getting your deal with Cherry Disc Records. I'm going to test your memory here because that was about 30 years ago.
My brother Brian had a bass and a little Gorilla amp, and I was screwing around with it, like just trying to get sounds because I don't know how to play an instrument. And I know that my buddy Jake and his brother Yuck play guitar, and so I brought the thing over there one day to their house in their garage when we were hanging out, and I pull the thing out and I'm like, start playing like Spermicide, like trying to play Spermicide, and literally they're laughing at me. They're like, that's really not music, and I'm like, that's okay, right? And they're like, yeah, you guys want to start an anti-music band? They're like, yeah, sure. So like Tree started off as an anti-music. And I think we succeeded.
I think so.
Yeah.
So you met. So it was the four of you right from the beginning.
Well, I knew Jake. I knew all the guys in the band, like Jake and his brother Yuck, who left the band to become a seaman. And he went to Mass Maritime.
Okay.
Which was no joke.
Right.
Tough school. And gives guys and girls a great career after when they come out. But it's definitely a commitment, And he actually left the band and got us to play out there, Battle of the Bands, so we got to play at Mass Maritime.
Really?
That was one of the things about Tree. Like we played.
Were you called Tree from Westwood already?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is in Westwood, right?
Westwood. Yeah. We started like around '88 in their garage, screwing around.
'88. That makes sense.
And then in '90, we got Brian and Billy Hinckley in the band, and that changed a lot because like. They were a little bit, I would say, better musicians than definitely better than me. I wouldn't even consider myself a musician at all. But I'm like a lyricist, singer guy.
Right.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Can't play for crap, but I try and I have fun with it. And sounds are sounds, right? But they were better. They were good. They had like Ooze was like Brian, who's definitely good guitar player, and had a style. Had his own kind of style going.
When did it start translating to where you could get to Cherry Disc? And was there other bands that you were playing with a lot at the time that helped you? Because you know how when a new band comes along, you want to try and get on a bill with a bigger band?
Here's how it happened. Like we had a posse already of like Westwood Maniac friends of ours.
Can you tell the people out there that don't know where Westwood is exactly?
Like Westwood's like outside of Dedham. It's all right. So it's like
South Shore.
It's like I wouldn't say South Shore. It's like going west next to Dedham and Norwood, right outside of Boston, right outside of like West Roxbury.
Okay.
Like Dedham,
okay.
Westwood, Norwood.
A Boston suburb.
It's a small little rich white suburb, basically. I mean, and it used to be like vacation homes for rich people. Like a lot of the houses there are like a small little like cabin-sized houses until things started blowing up in the 80s there. I mean, there's a lot of old money there, but then all this new money showed up and all these new neighborhoods, like these whole like giant areas of woods just disappeared turned into neighborhoods of those split level houses. Or you walk in the front door, you gotta go upstairs and go downstairs. And they all look the same, like neighborhood after neighborhood of the exact same house. It was like trippy. It was trippy. It was like you could shoot a movie like one of those like dystopia suburbia movies.
Right.
Because easily.
It's funny how so many good bands come from the suburbs, It's like a familiar trend.
Well, I think it just matters, it's if you have a place to practice. It's like space is harder to come by.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just harder to come by. And
so how did you get hooked up with other bands and stuff to play gigs?
By going to shows a lot. Me and Jake, and especially me, I was going to shows since the early 80s, so I kind of knew people, and by 90 I was going to the museum school, so I met some people through that, and some bands through there, and then I started still screening over at Any Design.
Yeah, I remember. That's where I met you, actually.
And the Bosstones were downstairs, and we knew Dickie from Norwood from back in the day, so it was like, hey, hook us up, please. And
really?
Oh, absolutely.
The Mighty Mighty Bosstones you did shows with?
We begged everybody for shows.
Wow. See, I was living in...
Can you guys help us out? You know who helped us out a lot in the very early days? Slapshot. You gotta give a shout out.
Wow, nice. I was in California at the time. That's why I don't know about this. I didn't move to Boston.
And then Sam Blackchurch was slamming, and they picked up and gave us definitely gave us a break. And Sean McNally definitely gave us a break, gave us shows. Sean picked me up hitchhiking.
So you were opening for bands like Slapshot and Sam Blackchurch and the Mighty Mighty Bosstones.
Not right away, within a couple of years.
And that's how you got your cherry disc deal?
Dude, we got on shows, I think, more because our friends would show up. Our band was decent, but our friends would show up.
You had a crowd.
And they drank a shitload at the bar. And people were like, hey, these guys are, you guys want to play again? Like, literally, we just wanted, Tree's whole goal was to play one show in Boston. We played that one show. And then after we played, they're like, hey, you guys want to play in 2 weeks? We're like, what? Really? What? Okay. Yeah. We'll do it.
Tree was not a straight edge band, I take it.
No. But I always I always had a lot of respect for straight edge, and I thought people that were straight edge that hey, that's cool, do what you want. I just didn't like it when they were trying to force their ideology on me.
Yeah, I know. I was afraid when I was younger to go to a lot of the shows, because SSD and those guys were so intimidating. And I had long hair and smoked weed and drank beer, and I was like, I don't think I'd fit in with those guys, and that's why I didn't go around early on. But I know them all, and I ended up working with some of them. So, but when I was younger, I was hesitant.
Early days were definitely more maniac, and you could fit in being totally weird and different, but also it was, it was not a lot of people doing it, so it was kind of cliquey, and it's like if you pushed it maybe too much, like
Al Barile would kick you out.
Show up with your tie-dye shirt. Dude, I had a friend of mine, we went to go see Suicidal Tendencies, and he dressed like a Westwood preppy. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? He's like, I think this is hilarious. This is punk rock to me. This is gonna be funny. So we went to go see Suicidal at the Channel. We both skated, so I'm skating like a regular skater with whatever on army clothes,
right.
And he's wearing his fucking bright green pants and his pink shirt and his fucking
whoa,
the full on. We end up hanging out with the band. We brought a bottle of vodka. We drank with the band and fucking hung out.
Suicidal.
They had a couple guys in the band that were skaters too. So we're skating, and then they're like, "Come meet the band." We're like, they want to meet this guy, and it's like he was famous. And then of course in the pit, someone had to beat him up, and it had to happen though. It just kind of had to happen. I'm not beat him up, but roughed him up pretty good. So when he came out of there, shirt's all ripped, he's all bloody, and he's like, perfect. This is exactly. And I'm like, you're okay? He's like, I'm okay. It's fine.
man. So when exactly did you, like, I know I keep asking this question, but I'm trying to figure out how you got your deal.
Oh, so we were bringing people in and got to play a bunch of shows, and then it kind of made us get better, and gave us inspired us actually to be like, hey, wow, we should write songs. We could just keep writing songs here, you know. It's like that's our ammunition now. It's like that's how we'll keep going, because like we loved like playing shows and like partying our asses off. I mean, that was like a blast. And all of a sudden we're getting to the age where it's like we're in our 20s, like there's a way of like, you know, still being crazy like a kid and keeping that youthful feel in your life. Yeah. But at the same time, growing up and having jobs, we all had jobs and painting houses or doing, like I did, Billy did floors, Jake was framing houses, I was painting houses. Sometimes we'd be all in the same job all at the same time, and everyone would be like, "Hey guys, how's that music career?" Be like, "Great, it's awesome. See you Friday night. We'll play at the Rat." You know.
I think a lot of people don't realize that a lot of bands have to keep other jobs. You know,
but that's the thing. It's like then all of a sudden we have all these maniacs from the job site showing up to our shows and being like, "Oh my god!" So like we were like these blue collar rock and roll guys, you know, and we were bringing people in our maniac friends, bringing in like we met a bunch of punks and skins. I met a lot of skaters growing up, skating in Boston and just being in the scene. So I tried to get those people that I knew into the band, and some of them liked it, some of them didn't, but would come and support us anyways, you know.
Who was it at the label that decided they wanted to sign you?
We met with John Horton, and
he's the head guy.
Yeah, but Graham Wilson.
Graham.
Grambo. Me and Grambo went to Framingham State together, and so did.
I went to Framingham State. I didn't know you went to school there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was the music director at WDJM.
I was a DJ there, and I got kicked off for playing the records at the wrong speed. But it's like Butthole Surfer record. Dude, it was Butthole Surfer's record, and then you play, there's this one song and you can play it at two different speeds. So I was playing it at the fast speed. It's like, it sounds, I like it better, you know. But
we got in trouble for different reasons. I got in trouble for playing Bodies by the Sex Pistols.
Oh, really?
On the air. Yeah, they didn't like that.
So I was playing music at the wrong speed and smoking tons of weed up there and drinking.
We all did it. Framingham State.
It was a dry campus, and that was like where you could go and party. You could lock the whole building would be locked.
When I was there, it wasn't dry. I lived in Corrine Towers Hall, and we partied our asses off. But then a couple of years after I left, that was it. All the campuses went dry. So Graham,
what the hell did you do?
What did I do?
Yeah, to make all the campuses go dry.
Oh, we were. There was a kid that fell out of the window.
Dude,
I was there that
tower?
day. Yeah, Mike Powers. I was there when it happened. I was in the basement. He landed playing ping pong. He landed right outside the window.
Like dead, splat.
No, he lived. He didn't even get injured. 2 weeks later, he was back. He had a punk.
What, he skateboard or something?
No, a tree kind of broke his fall. He was so wasted that
that's the other reason. I've heard about this. When you're wasted and you fall off a large, like you don't get rigid, you kind of bounce.
It was in the National Enquirer and everything. It was like a miracle happened. You know, I remember that clearly.
I don't know. The kids don't know this, but back in the day, like state colleges in Massachusetts used to be like party fucking insane.
Plus, it was 8-1 at Framingham State,
and there would literally be like someone would die at a campus every year, and they would just chalk. No, but they would just chalk it up as like, oh, we only lost one this year. It's like, yeah, that's it.
When I was at Framingham too, it was 8 girls to every guy.
Oh, it was still ridiculously
really outnumbered.
When I went there, it was still all right. So back to the story.
Graham Wilson.
So Graham Wilson, me and him were friends, and I was like, we were just trying to get something out. You know, we had a recording that we did with this guy in his basement on an 8-track. I can't remember his name right now. I'm trying, but so long ago. We did an 8-track recording in like 1989 or something. And that got us some shows in 90. And then we used some of those songs for the first album, A Lot to Fear, but a lot of those songs were brand new too, like Engulfed and Question Abuse. Like Engulfed was like brand new. Like we're like that whole. We started doing like kind of like a hardcore hip hop type thing, but I wouldn't even call it that. It was just more of my vocal delivery than the band doing anything,
right?
You know? So that stuff was kind of
And you did
newer.
2 records.
And then Spermicide's on the album. That was like, that's our first song, and it's just one riff. You just go fast, go slow. That's a trick, kids. If you don't have a lot of riffs, you can just use one.
So you did 2 records with Cherry Disc, and then you went to Wonder Drug after that.
No, it wasn't like that. We did a bunch of stuff. We got all clogged up at Cherry Disc, and we could have possibly gotten signed to a couple different labels, but we got kind of...
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was kind of like the smaller label trying to get too much out of the deal kind of shit.
It happens to bands.
Like, we could have had something, and then he made us sign something for, like, another option or some shit, so, you know what I mean? And
it didn't end well with them?
Not really, no. They owed us a bunch of money. We ended up getting the rights back from the song, which is a huge thing. But, you know, he never paid for a lot of the recordings, kind of shit. I hear from, like we did Downsize the American Dream, and then I hear from...
It's a big record for you.
Yeah, and I heard from the guy over at Silver Cloud out in L.A. that he never paid. He's like, you want to buy these tapes off me? We're like, what? I don't... we should have, but like at the time I was like, well, Tree's kind of done, and I didn't think... I didn't know how long I was going to live. I was only supposed to live to be about like 17. That was like my expiration date back in those days. 17, 18 maybe. I'd make it that far.
So was there any question about what you were going to do, or was Wonder Drug just a good natural progression for you?
Oh, it was a great... It was just something like Ken was right there. He wanted to do
Ken
something.
Samar.
Absolutely. Good friends with Ken already.
He's a great guy.
And then he already had some bands on his label, and it was, you know, it was just... it was definitely helped. You know what I mean? It didn't slow our momentum down that much, you know, because we wanted to keep putting stuff out. And but you know, it would have been better if like we got something bigger at the time, because like we just needed tour budget. That's all we really... Hey, can we just get a tour budget, and we'll prove that like we can get people to like us.
Who helped you? You guys went on a national tour with Roadstar, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did that? Who paid for that?
Who paid for that? What are you talking about? We all paid for it.
I know, I was joking, Dave.
All along the road, you know who we paid for it? Like T-shirts, and you know who paid for it? All the good people that took us in, so we didn't have to get hotel rooms.
Slept on some floors.
Oh,
yeah.
We also slept as kings. You know, we were like,
right.
It's like it depends on where we were and how lucky we got. Like, people would hook us up, and like sometimes it'd be just one band would get hooked up, or like sometimes all 3 bands. It would be like me.
Oh, there was a 3rd band.
Oh yeah.
Who was with you guys in Roadstar?
Stompbox was with us, and then Honky Ball was on us for part of it.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Absolutely.
I didn't realize that. I was trying to figure out how you and Roadsaw would fit at shows, because the style's obviously different.
No, it's not really that different. Like musically, it's really close. You know what I mean? It's just the vocals, you know, that are different. Like, you know, Roadsaw guys can sing and I can scream, and that's what we do. That's how we do it.
Well, you know, I only saw Tree 4 times. I remember all 4 shows.
Really, you do?
Yeah, I do. I do remember.
Awesome.
I'm going to tell you about them right now, too, because I remember them.
Good, I want to hear.
Because I caught you at the end of the band's run, and there was a reason why I didn't see you, and we're going to get into that. But one of those times was an unannounced set that you did at a benefit for the Animal Rescue League that I put together. You did it as a favor to me, and I won't forget that. That was fantastic.
It was the Linwood?
Yep. And then another time... You did a benefit I saw for a whale conservation society at Axis, and you did a favor for me that time. You put 3.5 girls on that show.
Oh, nice.
And then there were 2 shows downstairs at the Middle East.
Right.
One was 3.5 again, and the other, I can't remember the lineup. I think Honky Ball may have been on that. I like that you guys were involved in all those benefit shows.
I was gonna say, it's like we did that, and I'm sure the band, you know, was kind of, you know, not psyched that we weren't always getting paid. You know what I mean? But they understood it.
Yeah,
everyone understood it. And when you have that, when you have the power to do something like that and raise money for something and awareness, it's not just the money. You know, it's like putting it in people's heads. You know, you have to take. It's a responsibility, and you have to do it. And it was an honor and a privilege to be able to have that chance to do it, you know. So
No, I
I
can't-
always recommend bands that do that. And like, here's a new thing though. Like we did benefits for so long, right? That I devised a new and different way of doing a benefit, which is you split the door with the benefit and the bands, and then everybody benefits. You know what I mean? Because
I'm sorry I didn't split the door with you guys
and
at
if the-
night at the Linwood.
and in the no,
All
no.
the money went to the animal rescue.
No,
at
I'm
that
just saying.
time, but-
Yeah, but that's how it always used to work, right?
Right.
And then the band's like, "Well, that was cool. I walk away with nothing, and too bad now we can't play in Boston for another 4 months." You know, because it's like that. You can't just
Yeah.
like play next week and make 1,000. You know, make your money.
Well,
No,
this
you can't, you'd have to wait. People don't realize this, but maybe they need to know that you can't be in a band that draws a lot of people and just keep playing and playing and playing like every other weekend or something.
Right.
Because the clubs don't like that.
They don't
and
like-
you wear your people out, and they don't like it.
Now, like I said, I moved here late in your career. I think I was here in the middle of '96, and for a while, there was a reason why I didn't see you guys playing in Boston. I don't know if you want to get into this, but weren't you guys like banned for some reason?
Yeah, because people would, because the shows would explode in violence.
So that's the reason why, because the pits got too aggressive.
No, it would turn into brawls, and we'd get into maybe like the third. It got to a point like every show we were playing, we'd get like to the fourth song where it was just starting to get good. Like I said earlier, like you drop into like a zone as the band,
Yeah.
and you're like, we're in with the crowd, we're just getting there. Shit would go down, and shit was just like going down all the time, and I don't want people getting hurt, so we were like, fine, we're gonna go on the road and we'll chill out. And,
Did you have?
I'm trying to be friends with everybody. I talked to anybody involved that wanted to talk to us about anything on that shit. And believe me, we did. And,
Were there a lot of other markets that you could go to? Like, where else did you go and play? I know you guys went on tour, but I mean, if you had to stay close and you couldn't go on nationals, did you just go to New York or Portland, Maine, or Providence?
Yeah, Portland, Maine loved us. Old Town, Maine, Burlington, Vermont.
New York City, was that a good place for you?
New York City was a great place for us. Absolutely. New York was really good to us. D.C. was really good to us.
Oh, yeah, I believe that.
Maryland was really good to us. Philadelphia was really good.
So all the big spots on the East
Like
Coast.
right down, we could just go right down the East Coast easily. You know what I mean? Like the LNG in New London,
Oh,
Connecticut.
I know that club.
Yeah, that
Good
they were
room.
really good to us.
Yeah.
Right. It
Good
was
room.
run by an old biker guy. We became friends with him. The best thing about being in a band and touring like that, right, and getting out of town is like going out of town, being from Boston, repping your city, and being friendly and meeting all these other people and making them love your city too. You know what I mean? And being like, wow, those Boston guys, they get wasted.
Before you tell us, we're going to take a little break here. Before you tell us about your other projects, because you have a lot of them, we're going to listen to a song that's like been in my head now for a while. I love this song. This is also from See This World. This one's called Reality.
Wait a second. All right, this one's called Reality. It's off our new release. The future is 2020.
Yes.
got
I was
9
going
new
to say
songs.
that.
Got 9 new songs.
You've taken over my job for me.
Recorded it over at Galaxy Park by Richard Marr.
Yeah.
And mastered right here by our own Nick Z at New Alliance East.
Nick, I think Dave's going to take my show over, man, and I'm going to let him become the host.
Well, I just wanted because the other one is off a different album.
Yeah, I
Dead
know.
People. So
Right.
I just want to know this is new. So please check it out if you haven't heard
Okay,
it.
here it is. Check it out.
What's your reality? Do your reality? What's your reality? Do your reality? Find your reality? Be the reality? Love your reality? Hate your reality? Live your reality? Die your reality? Who's to say? Who's going to decide? What's your reality? Find the reality? Live that reality? It's your reality? Love your reality? Hate your reality? Live your reality? Die your reality? Who's to say? Who's going to decide? Who's to say? Who's going to say? Who's to say? Who's to say? Who's to say? Who's gonna say? Who's to say?
That was See This World Reality featuring our guest Dave Tree. The track was recorded with Richard Marr at Galaxy Park. I know Richard.
2019.
He's kind of fun to work with, isn't he?
Love working with Richard. He's great. He's great. He's got a great ear. He's a guitar player himself. He's got a great new place of recording. Like we recorded the Dead People song at his old place in Watertown, which was great. It was right near my house.
I never saw that
bicycle
studio.
There.
I used to work with him a lot when he was in the greenhouse, but then I left town again.
And then that's what I first met Richard when he was working in the greenhouse.
The greenhouse, yeah. The Charms and a lot of bands I worked with recorded there. Flexi. I know you also have another project called Sex Drone.
Yeah.
With our very own Nick Z,
yeah.
Duncan Wilder Johnson, and Michelle Morgan. Is this a project that you also plan on doing more of in the future?
Absolutely. I'm making like Nick Z, because I'm here today, I'm making Nick Z write at least one new song.
You're making him write a song today?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yes, Nick. Yes. Give me give me an hour in a moment, and we'll write a song. He's that good, He's that good to work with.
There's a pretty cool video of that too. That's on. Trevor.
Trevor did one. Yeah,
I really like that a lot. You know what I want to?
So here's the deal.
Okay.
Right. Here's just how Sex Drone happened. We're in this very room, putting up walls 2 years ago, building this place out so we could do stuff down in this basement, because this basement was just a blown out trash heap of junk and muddy, rusty water, right? And
sounds like fun.
While we're putting this up, I'm talking to him about industrial bands, and I'm like, you know what? I always kind of wanted to be an industrial band, but I like to have like more like punk riffs, or like, I don't know, like more punky hardcore riffs or something, and not so long, and I don't know, like more. I don't know, I'd be interested in like fucking with that kind of genre, and like by mashing it up a little bit. And he's like, I'd do that.
Well, it's very industrial.
You do that? He's like, yeah, I'd do that. I do. He's like, you have no idea. I've got hours of that shit already. And I'm like, all right, when we're done building this fucking place out, we got to start a band and jam it out. And we'll just do it.
Well, I like all the people.
So here's the thing: like during the whole pandemic, because right? Trump and the Republicans planned this, right? They planned it. Trump planned it. During this pandemic, where Trump and the Republicans don't want anybody to have any fun. You can't go to rock shows. Can't even go to church anymore. They want to kill God, but instead of them letting them kill God in rock shows and music, I'm like, come on, Nick, let's write some fucking songs, man. And we started writing fucking songs, man. And we came up with that song, Dead World.
Well, I like the people involved in the project, all of them. Duncan's been on the show twice. I'd love to get Michelle Morgan on sometime. She's really cool.
She's awesome.
And of course, Nick's here every week with me. So do you
ever have Nick on the show? Do you ever allow him on the other side of the microphone? Does he ever get to talk on the show?
I've actually thought about that, but I haven't asked him to do it yet. Not because I don't. You
don't trust him? You're afraid he's going to take over the show?
No, I don't trust him.
Would you trust me?
No, after today, I'm not really sure about having.
I wouldn't do.
I'm not really sure I'm going to have you back on the show again after today. But
good.
I'm just kidding. But I like that lineup, and I wanted to bring that up, and I do hope that you guys do more stuff together.
No, I'm seriously gonna sit down with him.
Duncan Wilder Johnson's a great guy. I love
he's good. Here's the funny thing. It's like we were working on a song called Us and Them. And we got to a point where we were coming up with the chorus type thing, and I'm in here just kind of making stuff up, and then Duncan came in, and he starts like mocking me, but doing it better. And I'm like, oh hey, I should copy. So I start copying what he's doing to me, and then I'm like, wait, why don't you just come in and sing on this baby, this sweet hot mama,
And the band was formed.
And then no, it's not, no, I wouldn't even say it was a band. It's like that song got done. You know what I mean? It's like right now we got 3 songs, right? So Duncan Kiss came in, made fun of me, made it happen. you know? And then I'm like, so then I was like, all right, well, Ducky, you're on this song, so you have to make the video, and you have the video skills. So he did. He made a video. And then I was like, you could do better than this. And he's like, I don't have the time. I'm like, you could do, don't give me that. I put you on this song. You have a responsibility now for the music. He's like, all right.
Duncan asked me one day if he was our third brother.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, he probably could be our third brother.
Yeah, he's my definitely, I call him my evil twin. So, like, I guess, like, it just goes down the line. Like, you're the oldest twin, I'm in the middle twin, and he's the young twin.
There's two other things I wanted to talk to you about. One was I think it was 2010. I remember this because there's a lot of photos. We were hanging out at the Boston Hardcore Reunion show in Revere.
Oh, right.
DYS and Gang Green.
I do.
And that was just, I mean, you must have loved that. I loved it.
That was fantastic. I loved that. That was great. I never got to see DYS when I was a kid, so I was like, all right, I get to see DYS as a kid.
Smalley was good that night.
Yeah.
Definitely.
No, the whole thing was great.
I thought Jerry's Kids probably was the best band of the show. They were like on fire, man.
Right. Bob Sensi's an animal.
Yeah, but you know, all the bands were good. I mean, they were all good. I mean, you can't go wrong with a lineup like that. You know, the FUs, who was it? DYS, FUs, Jerry's Kids, Slapshot. I'm probably forgetting somebody, but it was just fantastic.
I was drinking in the parking lot too, so
yeah, we were out there partying.
Yeah.
Tanya Diaz was hanging out with us that day, and Chris Doherty. We were all out there. I got photos of all of us together. That's what made me. I
woke up on the beach that day down like Wellfleet, and I was like, I gotta go to that show. And like, you're leaving? I'm like, yeah, I gotta go. And I just drove from the beach there.
I would not have missed that show for anything. The other one that I want to bring up, and you were very involved in, was the Gang Green All-Star Band at the Chris Doherty benefit a couple years ago. Why don't you tell us about that whole experience? Because you were part of the super group at the end of the night that played.
The super group.
It was.
Thank you. Yeah.
I had Glenn Stilford. I had Glenn on the show, and Glenn and Chuck were there, and Keith Bennett sang some vocals with you, and a bunch of other people.
So I think Gang Green, is like the Freeze and Gang Green were probably my
I love the Freeze too.
So those are my two punk rock hardcore bands that I first heard, right? And like the early Gang Green stuff when it's just completely mental and they're like, I'm less than a minute. Those songs are like kind of like my favorite. Like I hear those riffs in my head all the time. You know, I think to say that like that band wasn't an inspiration when I started getting Tree going, or even wanting to be in a punk rock band, would be an understatement. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
They were 14 years old. I was like 12 or 13. Like they were just a couple of years older than me, and I'm like, what?
Quincy wasn't too far away from you, right?
Kids could do. No, we used to go to the quarries when we were kids. So it's like, Quincy, here we are. You know, this is where it all started, at the quarries. Like that's where the punks. It's like, but no, like. Huge inspiration. Totally fucking made me see that that the kids can do it. And I was a kid at the time, you know, and that regular people that, you know, you don't have to be boring and regular. You can be magic. You know what I mean? You can make shit happen. You know, that whole do it yourself and do it right now.
Yeah, that was
so not just do it yourself, but do it right now.
Right.
Don't fucking talk about it. Don't fucking wait around about it. You know, do it and do it now.
I participated in the Boston Hardcore film because I knew a bunch of those guys, and I worked with the FUs in California when I was at Enigma and stuff. And Mike Drees actually, Think for Yourself, he brought that up in the documentary about how he loved the way those bands all were focused, you know, and like the
absolutely.
DIY ethic back then was incredible. So it must have been a real honor for you.
Oh no, not just an honor. I mean, I had to go to band practice. So like, I mean, like. So I'm band practicing with See This World, Tree, because Tree's doing the reunion with Gang Green,
right.
And Gang Green for like a month. I'm practicing 3 nights a week, you know, with a different band, or sometimes like 2 different bands in the same night, you know, and so it was exhausting, but to be able to play with the Gang Green guys and just hang out and with Keith, because man, Keith Bennett,
yeah.
what a joy to be with, man. A guy, I love that guy, and what a fucking raw talent he is, you know? And, but it was just, we're playing these old school songs, and I'm like, those are the words.
You didn't know the
I've been
words.
singing some of them like I would. No, I have a bad habit of making up my own words when I don't know exactly what the words are. So then I think those are the words because bad habit, or just like, it's just like when you were kids, we listened to like all those tapes. I didn't have like the record. It was like taped off a record onto another tape that was like scrubbed down and didn't even tell you what band it was. It's like, I think this is that Gangrene song again. It's like, what do the lyrics say? I don't know.
Yeah, I unfortunately was living in Pittsburgh when that show happened, and I missed it.
But I got to learn all the songs and like and sing my ass off at that. And then on the night of the show, like and just to do it for Chris too, because like Chris Story is an amazing friend of ours and mine, and like, early Tree, like he was definitely like when we were kids, he was one of the people that definitely helped us out, and we not just helped us out, we hung out, we toured with Gangrene Tree, and Gangrene toured, and that was insane, you know. Should have done that a lot more, but I don't know if I'd be allowed to talk about it because, like I tell you, those are tough tours. You know?
I remember one night my good friend John Bush was in town when he was in Anthrax, and we were all hanging out at the Rat. You remember that? Chris Doherty, you, and these girls, and we went over to O'Brien. We went over to not O'Brien's, Bun Ratties, or whatever they had changed the name to. And the girl that was driving drove right into the curb, and we got a blowout.
Oh no!
And stuff. That was a blast, man.
God.
That night was it was Stephanie actually, who Chris.
Oh yeah.
Chris and Stephanie were married for a little while.
That's right.
She's a hoot. Susan Cappuccioni was there.
He credits me for introducing him to stuff.
Oh, nice.
But she was really just my roommate, and she was a friend of our friend Dina's, and
Dina.
It's just crazy how things all worked out. We all hung out together. We're all family back then. Like I said, we had like Tree rolled in a mad posse. Like every time we had a show, if people wanted to come, people would pile into the van, and we would just drive on to like whatever venue or whatever and just be there. People would pile out.
Good old days.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Okay. And it's cool to show up with a lot of awesome women. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Right?
So this has been fun, but before I let you go, we didn't talk about the art thing at all. Why don't you just tell me a little bit about what your plans are as an artist? You do a lot of shows. You co-curate the gallery out here with Alvin. Is art just something that you just don't plan? It just happens for you?
Oh no! Here's how art comes to me. It's like sometimes I just see something in my head, or I hear it's like a song too. You hear something in your head, or you come up with like some kind of lyric that has a rhythm that you sing that creates a riff, right? Or you see something in your head and you want to like see if you can bring it into the real world, right? And sometimes you can't, but sometimes the mistakes of trying to bring it in are just as good, if not better, than the original idea.
You have a wide range of art.
You know, I have like I come up with processes, right, or styles of doing it. So I have the exact silkscreen thing. I can just do exactly like silkscreen, do like 4 different color silkscreen design, boom. Or I can do a 1 color silkscreen design and then paint on top of it. Or I can paint underneath it and then print on top of it. Or I can, I can mix up all different ways of printing and stuff that create these, I work on these like kind of like looks, and to have like a nice finished product that like, even though if the imagery is totally different, you can see that it's all done like kind of like the same way, and it has a congruency there too. But it's just cool to work with different ways of getting it out. You know what I mean? It's like, I guess I can give a shout out to the museum school for that, because like when you went to the museum school, you could use anything in the school. So I went there for photography because they had great dark rooms, color and black and white dark rooms, big, and they had like video and film. So I was like all into that. But they also had like silkscreen and then like they had photo silkscreen, and I was like all into like the photo process and the silkscreen process kind of like working together. And then man, I started working in ceramics, then I started working in welding, then I started working in like stained glass, and then all of a sudden I'm just like, everyone, it got to a point where it's like, it depended on what, I just stopped going to classes, and it just depended on what I wanted to do that day.
You became a great artist.
No, it just depended on what I wanted to do that day, and then I would get it done, you know? And it's like, you can't go to that school without, like, I got to a point where I had a vision, and I had a way of following it through till it was done, to a finished product. And,
well, I like your work, and I just wanted to mention that. And I think
art's important, and we need to get that back going.
Yeah,
and it's really difficult. How do you have an art show during a pandemic? Trump.
I wanted to use that. I was gonna say, as soon as this pandemic is over.
Yeah, they planned this.
It's your line, anyway.
Trump, the Republicans, the lizard people that eat your children. I mean, that whole Q people. They're right, but they're wrong, because Trump's not gonna save you. Trump's the fucking leader of the.
There's some psychos in that bunch. Without a doubt.
Dude, you don't know about the reptilian shape-shifting changelings that have been here since, like, you know, ancient times? Like, you know about that, right? Some even responsible.
It sounds like a whole show to me.
Yeah, well, that's what. Well, see, this is like this. So that's like an old like conspiracy theory or whatever you want to call it. It's been going on for a long time. They talk about these lizard people, these shapeshifters that are here, like harvesting us,
right,
for our negative energy and like. Hear me out, right? So then this guy Q comes on, or this Q shit, perverts all this stuff and goes, "Yeah, all this shit's real, but it's the Democrats that are doing it, and only Donald Trump's going to be able to save me, y'all." Even though, like, Trump's like pretty much been like accused of pedophilia himself and rape of a child, and is known to hang out with Jeffrey Epstein, right? Somehow he's going to be the leader that comes out and save y'all, dude. Rah.
God said so.
So Q stands for what? Quackers? You quackers? You guys are quackers? Q. So like, seriously, isn't it some guy in Jersey that they found out? It's like, so like, why don't they? So now it's like, hey, Q people, it's not like some secret like government like insider dude. It's just some jerk off from Jersey. Problem solved. And you're surprised that like Biden got sworn in. They're surprised that he got sworn in. Are you guys surprised now? You still surprised? Still surprised? No, come on. Snap out of it. Snap out of it. Come back. You know, we love you. You know, we do.
Can you do me one last thing? Can you
come on, like, everyone makes mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. You know,
well,
what you don't want to do is bury
thing.
yourself in lies. You don't want to bury yourself in other people's lies.
Yeah.
Don't bury yourself in other people's lies.
I hope they come to their senses.
No, well, they have to realize that they don't have to be buried. Like, talk about not being free. I want to be free. It's like, well, then you believe in all these fucking lies. How free are you now? You're not free at all. You're a slave to fucking bullshit. You're a slave to bullshit. That's sad. So stop it. Knock it off. Set yourself free. Start using critical thinking. Be a good person. Be friendly. Stop thinking that like that Q is real, or any of these right wing radio or right wing television, any of these networks. They're not really telling you the truth. It's like they don't care about telling you the truth. And then the people will say, "Oh, well, Dave Tree, fuck you. What about all this liberal media?" And I'm like, "Well, fuck you. Where is this liberal media? Because I'd love to see it. All I see is corporate media. You know, that's not liberal media. That's fucking corporate media too." And like, you know how they how they fucking play us? It's like, it's not just about what they report. It's about what they don't report. It's not just about how they report it. It's just how they report it. Or how they how about on the way over here, or for the last couple of days I've heard, "Hey, guess what? The casino in Everett's open again." It's like, that's not the fucking news. I don't give a fuck. That's not the fuck you. That's not the news. That's free advertising for fucking the casino in Everett, so people can go lose their fucking shirts. Hey, you haven't got fucked up enough during the pandemic? They planned this. You know what I'm saying? Like, you go to the fucking Trump casino and get fucking Trumped again. You fucking, like, come on.
Okay, you're all wound up.
Can we have a commercial? Can we where's my free advertising on NPR, man? I just put out a fucking record, NPR. Why don't we fucking talk about that? I don't give a fuck about Taylor Swift. I don't give a fuck about the casino.
If anyone is looking for the liberal media, they found it.
Where is it?
It's on Blowing Smoke with Twisted Rico. We just heard it.
Wow.
Dave, can you? This could go on forever, but I want you to plug some of your links. Like, what's your Instagram?
I don't know.
At Dave Tree 8 or something like that.
I'm Dave Tree 8.
Yes.
Whatever.
I recommend you
and then
check
I'm
it
at
out.
The Dave Tree on Twitter, and then I'm Dave Tree with a broken window in my with Robert Johnson on it on Facebook. Because there's other Dave Trees. Dave Tree's not my real name, and I think there's other Dave Trees who it is their real name. They're fucking so pissed. They're so mad. They're so mad. They're like, you're trying to get my Dave Tree name through the dirt. I'm like, dude, it's called Tree. What do you want? What do you want it? Yeah.
Okay,
Plenty
ladies,
of dirt, plenty of fucking soil here, my friend.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it. The one and only Dave Tree in my mind. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
What about Davy Tree Landscapers? What about them?
I don't know them. I
Sue
just know
them.
the Dave Tree in
Sue
front
them.
of them. Thanks a lot, man.
Thank you so much, Twisted Rico.
My
My
pleasure.
good friend.
My pleasure for having
It's
you
been
on
a
the
long
show.
time. You know, since you first came to town, we've been good friends.
Absolutely.
You know, it's always great to collaborate with you in anything. You know, so this whole podcast situation that we're going to build an empire out of, you know, and get people and get and provide actually the people with some liberal viewpoints that you won't hear like on corporate news and you won't hear on the right wing radio, Fox. It's funny how it's Fox, right? FAUX, Fox.
I believe in your vision.
Fixed news. Yeah, I believe in your vision too. It's like you're part of this whole vision. It's like people need to hear from regular people too. You know what I mean? Like they need to hear like, hey, we all make mistakes. They need to hear like, come on, we're all in this together. Knock it off. You know what I mean? I know.
Absolutely.
You know, it's like I don't want to like you know. It's like talk to me like you would talk to me. You know, don't talk to me like you would on Facebook or through some one of these some corporate juggernaut social media network where you don't really get to express yourself properly. You know, it's not a full expression of what we all can be. You know,
I'm happy that you were able to express yourself today, and I want to thank you very much for coming on the show. I've just got a couple more things to say here, and then we'll go. I always mention this, how it's really important that we support the mom and pops and independent shops like the one I mentioned at the beginning of the show, Baby Loves Tacos. And then there's other places like JLS Design in Leicester, the Moonbeam Cafe in Oakmont, PA, Spectacle Eyewear in Boston, the Dark Horse Pub right here in Somerville, Honest Taqueria, the Record Archive in Rochester, 1369 in Inman Square, and the list goes on and on. Book Lovers Gourmet in my hometown of Webster. These stores need us now more than ever during these difficult times, so whatever it takes, ordering food, merch, buying your favorite metal band's record, please keep these businesses going. If you want to support this podcast, go to patreon.com/Twisted Rico. For $1 a month, you can help me with this podcast, and I'd appreciate it. You can email me at twistedrico@gmail.com. Follow the Instagram page at Blowing Smoke with TR, and there's also a Facebook page. Next week, it's going to get no less. It's going to be just as exciting as we'll have Eric Thaler.
awesome.
Former singer of Stompbox and later Decon. We heard Dave mention Eric a little while ago. We're going to talk to Eric about how he ended up in Boston from his hometown of Spokane, Washington, and what he's been up to these days, as well as we're going to revisit his memorable time with the mighty Stompbox. Before leaving, I want to thank our engineer, Nick Z, here at New Alliance East in Somerville, Mass., and also all the patrons that have come aboard. And this is Blowing Smoke with Twisted Rico. I'm your host, Steve Ricardo. Till the next time we say goodbye, keep the rock and roll alive. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.